Hey everybody, my name's Ed Trevors. I'm an Anglican priest in Nova Scotia, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. Today, I want to tell you about something that happened to me on Sunday. So in church, I preached what I would argue is the worst sermon in the history of sermons. I had something prepared, I was ready, I was on the line, and then the moment came where I stood, and after I read the gospel, something had occurred to me in those words. Wow, it was not what I expected. It was not what I estimate in any way, shape, or form to be good. And for what it's worth, I've done that a few times in this channel. I produce something, I think, oh yeah, that was pretty good, and then I go back and I cut it and I upload it and I read it again, or I listen to it again later, and did I really do that? You know, perfection is not something that we are required to attain as human beings. But it is something we strive for. And when we strive for it, we often miss it. And when we miss it so gloriously like I did on Sunday, it kind of hurts a little bit. But there's this song that I listen to a lot when I'm having these kind of moments. Because these moments for me, they generally spiral. They spiral out of control. They're the kind of things that make me not want to get out of bed in the morning. Oh, I don't want to try again. Don't make me try again. I don't want to try again. And it's usually my sense of responsibility that gets me up and gets me moving. But there's a song from the Tragically Hip that I listen to when I'm in those moments. And it's a catchy song. I'll include a link to it in the description. It's called "It Can't Be Nashville Every Night." He said we are what we lack, and this guy's a diplomat. I'm not sure why the song makes me feel good. I don't know if it's actually about what I think it's about. What I think it's about is that, you know, you're not gonna hit a home run every time up to the plate, right? You're not gonna give an all-star performance every time you stand on stage. You're not always going to get that feeling and the standing ovation that you have from a great performance. Sometimes you just get through it. Sometimes you just get by. And so I listen to that song, and that song makes me feel good about things. It makes me feel good about myself. It makes me remember, it helps me to remember that it's trying that matters. As you know, I've been studying Stoic philosophy, and one of the things the Stoics would say is that every morning when you wake up, you should be striving for perfection. Right? You should be striving for detachment, and you should be striving to recognize what's truly important and what isn't, and you should be striving to make sure that you never take offense to anything anybody says or anything that anybody does, because that's about them, not about you. And yet the Stoics also are quick to recognize that what they're striving for is impossible. It's not achieving perfection that matters. It's trying. In the Gospel of Matthew, the 5th chapter, this is in that place where Jesus is doing all this really fantastic and wonderful and brilliant teaching, and it's like, you know, it's one lesson after another, and it goes on like this for a few chapters, and it's all gold. And in this one section, he says, "You've heard it say to love your neighbors and hate your enemies, but I say, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you." And then he explains that a little bit. He opens it up a little bit for us. And then he ends it with, so that you may be perfect, like your Father in heaven is perfect. So in that, Jesus is saying, if you can love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, and you can do this every time, and you can do this wonderfully, and you can do this powerfully, and you can, it's just a natural thing, and that you don't harbor any grudges or any anger, and you're able to let all that stuff go, then you are perfect, like your Father in heaven is perfect. Now, it's not like he's saying go to church every Sunday and be perfect like your Father is perfect. You could do that, right? If perfection was measured in how often you went to Sunday morning Mass, you could do that. But it's not. It's measured in our ability to love our enemies and pray for those who persecute us. And this isn't that kind of prayer where we say, "Dear Lord, change their minds about me so that they will stop persecuting me." Or, "Dear Lord, let them see the error of their ways so they will stop persecuting me." It's about praying for them in a way that has nothing to do with you. Dear Lord, give them a blessed day. Dear Lord, keep them and their family safe and healthy. Dear Lord, help them in all their endeavors and to feel fulfilled and full of purpose. Help them to follow you. That's the kind of prayers we're talking about. It's not, however, the goal that Jesus is most worried about. It's the journey. He understands as well as anybody else, just like Paul, right? For all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Perfection is unattainable. But the journey is invaluable. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you. And I pray that you would always know the peace of being in the Lord's presence. And I pray also that you will take the challenge, take the journey, find your joy in the journey, even when it doesn't seem like you're getting any closer to your goal. It can't be Nashville every night. Amen.